here with the very legendary Mr. Philippe Dufour, who is, I guess many people call you the best finisher alive.
You said it.
I said, I know it's not something you can say,
Yeah.
but people say this about you. I've heard it more than once.
Yeah.
What
Well,
do you think when you hear this? When you hear someone call you this?
I'm very happy, very proud of that. It was not easy because at the beginning, when I started to make my own watches, people that didn't know about finishing. Okay, it was 92, 93. They have no ideas about finishing. 20 years ago, people have no idea about what is the finishing. Today, things has changed. That means people they know when they go in a shop, for example, to buy a watch, they take the watch and they take the look and they look at it and they say, yes, it's nice, but it's not hand finished. You see, people they get the knowledge, and I'm very happy for that. I'm happy also for my colleagues, because I'm not the only one, who are different independent watchmakers who are trying to do our best, and we try to improve every day.
What made you decide when you were studying watchmaking that finishing was something that you enjoyed? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, it's all about the effort. It's all about spending the right time with the right technique. And the reason people like your work so much is because you put all the right steps in there. How did you decide that was going to be important for you as a watchmaker?
Well, it's by when I designed my watches, I took inspiration from what was done in my era, let's say 1890, 1900, and so on, And they used to take the time to make beautiful things, Even the finishing doesn't bring you any more accuracy,
right.
Okay? But it gives you something. It gives a character to the watch movement, okay? It's like a piece of art. It's like a painting, And if you take some of my simplicity, they all have their own character. Because when I'm finishing beveling the Monday, it's not the same mood as the Friday, you know what I mean?
Right,
so
right.
everyone has his own character.
A couple months ago, I spent a lot of time researching finishing, and I was comparing a lot of watches with hand finishing versus machine finishing. And I asked myself, what's the difference here, right? Because machines can do techniques that are very, very good.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, the major difference for me about hand finishing is that it's not perfect. And there's a little bit of an organic element. Would you agree to this?
Yeah, exactly. We try to be 100%, but sometimes it's 98,
When you have a line that's this way and a little one this way, it gives it an organic feel. It looks more human.
Yeah.
And I think people respond to that.
Yeah, in fact, when you look at a hand finish movement, you can feel its emotion,
Yeah.
And mechanical finish, it's okay. Nothing wrong with that, Of course, you cannot make all the watch production with hand finishing. Why? Because we don't have the people anymore, the hands and the knowledge.
How many people do you train each year to extend this craft?
This period, not much. But I used now I'm working alone. We used to be 5 in the workshop, So I train these people. They work 2 years, then they lose motivation. They want to change. Okay.
Why do they lose motivation?
I don't know. I'm very, very disappointed. If I take today a statement of my professional life, it's some very positive, some very negative. The positive is that without any publicity, my watches are recognized around the world. I need plenty of life to achieve what people ask me, okay? This is marvelous, very positive. And the negative is that since many years I tried to build a team and I failed.
What do you think was the cause of this failure?
The life in Switzerland is too easy.
It's too easy?
Yeah.
So
people they have no more the guts to fight.
So you're a tough boss.
Yeah, yes, because I made a red line, okay? And I try since my first grandson was military better, I try to follow that red line, okay? Of course, its level is high. You cannot be under, Okay, when I see some macro picture of my watches on the internet, for example, I'm very happy, and I used to show these macro pictures to my watchmaker. I say, the watch you are making, it has to be like that. The customer is waiting, he wants that. You can go higher, but no lower.
Makes sense.
Because the same picture with a broken screw, a scratch on the bridge, it's published, and I'm very small. Don't they just kick me,
Yeah.
It's no other way. You have to keep up. Always, always, always.
So you're a perfectionist.
Yeah?
Now, I'm sure, especially in Asia, there have been people coming to you wanting to be your apprentice, your protege.
Yeah.
How often does that happen?
Yeah, very often I receive a lot of demand through mail, internet, and so on, but I cannot.
None of these people have what it takes?
No, I cannot. I have to produce watches to make a living.
Right. So you can't take the time to teach them
Exactly.
and make money.
Yeah.
Interesting. So theoretically, maybe in the future, you could dedicate some of your time to really seriously teaching these things. Because I think about George Daniels and Roger Smith.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's a good. Yeah.
And George Daniels is. He was known for being a very difficult man, very high expectations,
Yeah.
which was good for the watches.
Yeah.
And then he said no to everyone until Roger Smith, and you probably know
Yeah.
the whole story, how
Yeah.
he read his book and all
Yeah.
that. And I'm thinking that you also need
Yeah.
a young watchmaker to come in and
Yeah.
extend this legacy, because it's interesting what you say about people not being motivated when everyone is always saying, yes, it's all about hard work and tradition and dedication, but you are saying that it's difficult to find people that want to apply the time.
Exactly.
Now tell me, for example, so the simplicity here,
Yeah.
just the finishing,
Yes.
how many hours, it doesn't have to be exact.
This is about
Or days.
the parts already prepared
Yeah.
at the embauche, okay? But in terms of finishing the complete watch, adjusting timing and everything, it's about 1 month, 1 and a half, depending.
1 month.
Yeah.
For 1 month. Now, we know about the Sonnerie, which is beautiful, especially the skeletonized one. What's the most complicated watch you finished recently?
I'm working right now on a Grand Sonnerie Mini Repeater.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it similar to the other one?
Yeah,
Does it have some
yeah,
changes?
yeah.
And that watch, it's obviously much more complicated. How long do you think that will take to finish?
Yeah, about 10 months.
10 months.
Yeah.
10 months. And you have obviously more of these maybe on order?
Yes, but I refuse orders because I'm not young anymore, so I cannot take any order for the next 10 years. Because
What is the most common question that your collector fans ask you?
common question, they just want a watch because they all dream about that watch. Everybody wants the simplicity.
The simplicity.
Yeah.
What is your favorite watch that you make?
The Grand Sonnerie,
Grand
yeah,
Sonnerie.
because it was first one. It's really. Sometimes when I have one back for a service, for example, after 10, 12 years, sometimes it's difficult for me to realize I made it.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because I was crazy at that time. When I started the first sketches about the Grand Sonnerie, I had to learn the CAD. 2 years and a half, I never stopped one day, even Christmas Day. I had to achieve that, I was completely...
Could you have ever made it without the computer-aided design?
Yeah, I could make one, but the idea of having the computer is to have accurate drawings,
Right. So you can make it again and
yes, and the computer gives you all the information you need, very, very accurate.
That makes sense. That makes sense. What advice would you give to young watchmakers that see your work and say to themselves, I would love to do even something close to that someday?
Yeah, I said if you want to become independent, to create your own watches, first you have to erase some words of your vocabulary.
What words?
Weekends, holidays, retirement.
I think that applies to a lot of people that start their own business, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So it's interesting because most people don't think about it, but you are a businessman in addition to being an artist.
Yeah,
And those are two very different things.
yeah.
When did you realize that you had two big jobs like that?
It's when I finished my first Grand Sonnerie in '92. To make a watch is something, but I had to sell it, okay, to refund the old investment. So I discovered a new job, you know, a businessman. And my first trip to Asia was incredible, you know.
Tell me about it.
I spent 10 days dealing with Chinese people. Believe me, I learned for all my life.
What did you learn exactly?
How to deal with people, how to behave. Don't be too strong, because first thing they ask me, what is the discount for it, you know? And it's no discount, you see. So by doing that, they lose the face.
Right.
So the next day you start a new meeting and blah blah blah, and little by little making mistakes, you know. I learn, and now it's marvelous, and I found a marvelous way to do business in Asia, where when you shake hands with somebody, it means something.
What does it mean?
Trust. In Europe, forget it. If you want to make business with people, you need contract, lawyers, and blah blah blah. Over there, you shake hands. That's it.
In Asia, it's like that.
Yeah, I work with a shop in Ginza. They have the exclusivity for in Japan. We shake hands in year 2000, and since 15 years we're working together like that.
That's fantastic.
Never a problem. Marvelous, marvelous.
That's probably really good advice for a lot of watchmakers. Now, a lot of people have the dream of not even working alone, but working alone, but providing services for the big brands.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a good idea, or is it better to do what you did, was work for the brands and then go completely independent with your own name?
Yeah, I think you know, to start, maybe to still working for somebody to make a living. And beside that, at night, the weekends, the holidays, you start to realize your own ideas, your own dream, you know. Because it's difficult to stop and to start, because you know, unless your father is a banker, but you know, otherwise you have to make a living. You know?
I think a lot of people don't understand that even if the price for a single watch is a lot, your time and your own personal expenses into each of those is very, very high.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
You know, and they think that you know, the price is really a reflection, especially when it comes to independence, of the amount of money it costs you, and then a fair margin.
Yes, exactly. And also one thing, you know, if you take a product like the Grand Sonnerie, the investment was very important to realize the first watch, you know. All the research and development, it's very important. And you cannot spread that on 50 or 100 watches, you know. If you take a big brand, they invest in research, then they can refund that investment on more watches. But as independent, I cannot.
Right. Do you think that something could be added to today's modern watchmaking schools that would help people better, that isn't being taught right now? Maybe it's finishing, maybe it's something else. Because I find a lot of watchmakers, they come to us actually right out of school and they don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. Maybe they have a job with a brand, but in their mind it's only temporary. What can be improved about today's watchmaking education, in your opinion?
I think what I say to the young people, young watchmaker, you have to get some knowledge, and this knowledge you can get it through old watches. So you go to the flea market, you buy some old stuff, okay, broken things, and you redo it. You make a new balanced stuff, and you make a watch working again, okay, little by little. And I spent 5 years of my life restoring watches for auction people, where I learned for all my life by seeing what the old people did. And when you realize how they did it, with which equipment, today we are just big like that.
Interesting. And that's not an experience that only you've had. I know that Francois Paul Journe had a similar experience, and Peter Speck-Marin.
Exactly.
All restoration.
Exactly.
And this is a great education.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
What are some tools that you've discovered in the last 10 years or so that have helped you do your work a lot better? We talked about CAD, but maybe actual physical tools that have helped the finishing process, that have made your work easier. Are you still using very traditional
Yeah,
tools?
very traditional filing, buffers,
Wood
and so on. Yeah.
Is it hard to find those materials and tools, or is
No,
it
it's
available?
it's available. Yeah.
So what is the most important tool that without it, everything you would do would just go away?
I don't get it.
Like if there's a tool that somehow it wasn't available anymore, maybe like a kind of wood or some type of resource that if it didn't exist, it would make your life very difficult and maybe you couldn't make watches.
Yeah, I think we can always find something
Okay.
to replace. You know.
The reason I ask is, there's the little wooden sticks that are
Yeah.
used to finish, and I was told that it's this particular type of wood that
Yeah.
grows in the area, and they said you have to use this wood. And I was wondering what's so special about this wood. Is it soft? Is that why?
Which one? The one I'm using? Yes, I go to pick it up in the pasturage at this period of the year, just before the snow. Okay?
Really?
Yeah, because it's called gentian. The plant, when it arrives in autumn, the plant itself become dry, and out is a tube. Outside is wood, and inside you have a pith. You know pith?
No.
Okay.
Like a soft.
Yeah.
Like a reed? Like
yeah.
inside the reed?
We call it pith. Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
the word.
Maybe if you check on the dictionary.
Yeah. I'm not a botanist.
Yeah. So this you can you cut it the way you want, and on that paste you put some diamond paste, and you make the final finishing. And what is nice is because the outside is wood, so you can press.
Ah.
Okay.
Interesting. So that's a great tool.
Yeah, and this, for example, some years ago I visited the team in Nagano, Seiko, the art studio where they
Yeah.
make the Credo watches.
I know this book.
And they came to visit my shop too. And when you are watchmaker is no border. We just talk watches and watchmaking. And they saw this piece of wood. And they asked me why. So I explained, and I gave them a little bit of that. And then they asked me again. I sent a little box with okay. and I read an article some years later. Finally, they can say the Credo is 100% made in Japan because they found a plant in Japan very similar to the one I use.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
So they're very.
What do you think about the facility in Nagano and even the other facilities where they make Grand Seiko? Does it impress you what they do?
Yes, especially the art studio where there are 7 or 8 watchmakers.
Yeah.
They're working like me,
Yeah.
And what they're doing, it's nice.
Do you think that they realize that if it wasn't for people like you to inspire them, that they wouldn't know what to do?
Maybe, but I think that they don't realize yet the importance of such things, because the Credo is very limited production.
Right.
Okay, it's only sold in Japan for the moment, But try to imagine if they double or triple their production.
It's too much.
With some product, they can spread it in the world because it's nicely made, And in Switzerland, we have to think we are not the only one to be able to do such things,
Right.
Today, the reference in terms of finishing and for me is no more Swiss, When you see what's happening in Germany,
Is that a good or a bad thing?
I think it's good. You have to take it positively, okay? And that must push us to try to be better.
Right.
It's a way to fight. But people sometimes they don't realize that we are the best. No, but things are moving all around. Look, take China. When you see what they're coming now with tourbillon, okay, finishing is not here yet, okay? But it's working properly, it's accurate, and it's affordable.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But who knows, in 5-10 years, they have maybe big workshop with plenty of people filing and beveling by hand.
It could happen.
Of course.
Yeah, I agree with you. I remember seeing a few years ago these Chinese tourbillons was the joke. Now, for $2,000 or $3,000, you can get a very high functioning.
yeah.
It might not look as pretty.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like $3,000 or $100,000.
Yeah, you choose.
You know. Yeah. There's a lot going on
yeah,
there.
exactly.
So you feel that the idea that different countries now and different regions are becoming involved in the fine watchmaking. This is good for the industry.
Of course. That must push us to try to be always better.
Let me ask you another question, just about collectors. You know, you're one of the few watchmakers that I think has as much intimate contact with collectors. I think you really understand what people are looking for. And the first question is, how have collectors changed in the last 15 or 20 years? Not just about their taste, but in terms of who's collecting and maybe why they're collecting.
I think the collectors, for most of them, they start with a famous brand, okay? They have a big amount of very famous brand, okay? And little by little they discover the independent. They discover more original products, okay? And what is important for the collector is the traceability, where it comes from, who made it.
The provenance.
Yes, this is very important, especially in Asia, you know. People can say, I touched the guy who made my watch. I made a picture with him. You see? That's important.
So it's a personal connection.
Exactly.
Interesting. And that's something you can't get from the big brands, really.
No,
It's very difficult.
no.
So what do you think is going to happen based upon what you're seeing in the next 5 or 10 years? Any predictions?
Not really. I think I cannot make any prediction for the next 5 years, but for the next year, thing will slow down. It start already, because since many years I say we are producing too many watches.
Absolutely.
We are producing a bubble of watches, and this bubble is trying to explode. And you can see around the world. I visit some shops in Hong Kong. It's empty, and they have stock for 1 year, 1 year and a half.
We were there 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
It's just so it's not. I hope we can clean that bubble, okay? Then start on a new basis.
Do you think that the watch auction world is contributing to part of this bubble by pushing so much inventory and everything which is unsold just goes straight into the watch auctions? I mean, it's a good thing and also a difficult thing. Right?
Auction is one thing, but the world thinks today it's a grey market.
Right.
You know, and let's say if somebody bought a watch, he paid 100,000 Swiss francs for a watch last year, and he sees the same watch brand new for 30,000 on the internet. Come on.
Yeah, it destroys all the credibility.
Exactly.
And all the.
It's what's happening today. It's
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, last question. Talking about too many watches, how many watches do you think that you yourself are able to produce every single year?
Well, a good year. When I had some watchmaker to help me, we produced 18 Simplicity, yeah.
And that's when you had 5 watchmakers.
Yeah.
And
not 5, it was 3 at that
3.
time. Yeah.
So now just doing by yourself, how many?
Well, one and a half, because on Grand Senoi it's about 9-10 months.
Yeah.
So you see.
So 1 or a few more.
Yeah.
Now, would you like to have more good watchmakers? Are you hoping to find more?
Yeah,
people?
I would love to have a team you can trust and people motivated. Yeah.
Well, I think eventually you'll probably find the right people. You might have to educate them a little bit, but eventually.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.